Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Of course. Well, I mean, Star Trek. I mean, that's a big deal. What was it like stepping on set for Star Trek? Because I can't even imagine.
You know, my first experience on set was very unique. It was like all the things that you would imagine would happen on a big movie set happened. So I get there. I'm processed just like everyone else through hair and makeup. You know, you're made to wait just like everyone else. And then I walk onto the set, which is our apartment, which is one of the first things we shot.
Right.
And who is sitting on that set but Steven Spielberg and J.J. Abrams. And they're huddled in a corner. They, like, you know, masterminds at work on something beyond both of our comprehension, I'm sure. But they're actually figuring out how to shoot it in 3D.
Wow.
Well, not figuring out, they knew how, but how this film would work in a 3D format with a new type of camera.
Wow.
And so I walk on set and I'm like, is that? Oh my God, it is. Wow. This is it. I'm here. This is a big movie set. And, you know, he was introduced to us, and I don't know how much, I don't know if he stayed to watch our scene. And then we just started working, and once we started working, it was like any other set.
Right.
It really was. It was just work. And that's the nice thing about work. It's work. Whether you're on stage or you're on set or you're in front of a live audience, or it's work. So it was just very comfortable work.
What was JJ like? What was that experience like? Because he seems like a very unique director.
Yeah, he's a class act. I mean, the thing that struck me most about JJ is, well, two things really. Number one was his specificity. Originally, our scenes opened the film, and it was the first thing the audience was going to see. So he really had a very strong vision, literally beat by beat, of how he wanted those scenes to play out, and those moments to play out, and those shots to play out. So we were literally, on one hand, being directed within an inch of our life, and on the other hand, he was very open to our input or our feelings or our emotions, or, you know, how would we feel in this situation, or how we think our character would feel. So there was this beautiful sort of, you know, harmonization of those two worlds. So that's the first thing. Like, work-wise, he's a genius. He's very specific. He's very strong. He's also extremely detail oriented. So like, he's watching your performance, and then like the towels will catch his eye, and he has to stop and fix the towels and get them right, or take them away, or something. Like, the whole mise en scene is a complete thing for him. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing is, he's like the nicest down-to-earth guy in the world. No, really.
Wow.
Whether you're an extra who has no lines or you're the lead of the film, he wants to actually genuinely get to know who you are. He takes that time to talk to you. I never saw him once lose his temper. His crew works like a well-oiled machine. He works with the same people all the time. They know how he works.
Wow.
So in that sense, it was such a luxury. Like, I would really forget where I was or who I was dealing with, because everyone was just so nice and normal. And then, you know, I remember one of the ADs, I was sitting on a couch waiting. Actually, to be more specific, I was sitting on this couch pumping, because I just had a baby, and the AD knocks on the door, and he's like, you know, it's time to go. And I was like, okay, great. 2 minutes later, I come out, and then I open my door, and he sees the couch. He's like, oh yeah, we used that couch in MI4. Tom Cruise used to sleep on that couch. And I'm like, I just pumped milk on the couch that Tom Cruise slept on.
That's amazing.
And then, of course, he was at the premiere, but I didn't say that. That would just been really weird. He'd been like, oh, who are you? Yeah, so, you know, it was just, but like, they use all the same stuff even. Like, they're like a unit. They all just go together.
Wow.
They have all the same waiting room stuff. Like, it's their thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And did talking to JJ about the role, did he change any aspect of it with you, or did you end up just kind of, you envisioned her and that's what worked out?
Yeah, I mean, I had my own notes and my own story, and I brought them to him, and he was so supportive and loved it. So I said that, you know, I really thought that Rima was also a member of Starfleet at one point, and that's how they met. That's how her and her husband met. Thomas met, and that she stopped working when her daughter became sick, and then he worked just to continue being employed. And JJ, he's like, yeah, I love that. So you understand why he needs to go to work when your daughter's sick at home, because, you know, he's working for like a greater cause and this and that and whatever.
Right.
So he loved all of the stuff we had. He's like, just use it. He had nothing. He was so thrilled that we had done some homework and come to him with it. And he was very open too to, like, you know, both Noel, the gentleman who played my husband, and myself had dealt with hospitals and our families and stuff like that. So we both sort of shared our personal experience with it, of how we would have reacted. And JJ was like, amazing, do it. So in that sense, he was really, you just had all the room in the world and all the time to play. Really, he was so generous that way. But we were working within the confines of his vision.
Right.
I wouldn't say like, oh, I'm not going to wear this, or I'm not going to brush my, you know, like there was no discussion like that. But, you know, if I said I think I would touch her face and then kiss her, and then, like, I think I'd collapse and want to put my head on her chest. He's like, amazing.
Well, I love the fact that that story, in the whole story, is kind of the really human, almost civilian for the most part story as part of this bigger kind of tale.
And that's how it was sort of pitched to me. That's how the casting directors and producers pitched it to me when I got the part, that you're going to open the film and it's going to be this, like, this really quiet, no dialogue, score-driven, emotionally fueled story that's then going to, like, jump to, you know, Bones and Kirk on, you know, a red planet being chased by, like, you know, a Raiders of the Lost Ark opening kind of thing, right? Homage to that. And I thought, wow, that's so good, because he wants to actually start it softly and then go to this crazy place. And then it of course, things change, and, you know, there's...
That's too bad, though. You could have opened the film.
I was supposed to open the film and close the film, and my last scene wasn't in there either. Maybe it's in the DVD extras. We'll find out today. Or I'll find out tonight. But it's, that's how they had it up until January, and then they changed it. But, you know, it's still... I think it would have been... I understand why they changed it. I think they wanted to start the sequel with, like, a bang. You know, you've waited, like, the 2009 was this, and this came out in 2013, 4 years for the next one. You know, I think they wanted to give the audience... Or maybe it didn't test well. Who knows? Who knows what the logic is? But I do feel like it was the really human, quiet part of the story that really leads to the bigger part of the story, and that is, what would you do for your family? What is the ultimate sacrifice? How far would you go for the ones you love? And wow, that's amazing. That's a bigger discussion in itself, right?
It is. Well, I'm wondering otherwise, what else is coming up for you?
I am very happy to say that I'm going to be joining the cast of an independent film called Parts Per Billion, starring Rosario Dawson, Frank Langella, and Josh Lucas. It actually wrapped last year in Detroit, good old Detroit, and now they're doing massive reshoots on it, and so we start reshoots next week, and they're introducing a new character.
Wow! Congratulations!
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.